Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. And we're getting straight into this one. We're talking about my good friend, Keith. Once upon a time, Thurman. Now, you have to forgive me, and for those people who are new to the channel, who don't know the history of this channel, Keith Thurman, back in the day, when he was one-time Thurman, before he became world champion, and even when he was world champion, would regularly call my house and we would talk this boxing and life, right? So, for the most part, I introduced the UK audience to Keith Thurman because I was the one who was doing the interviews. When people weren't cared about Keith Thurman, it was Keith Thurman, there's Bryant Jennings, there was Terence Crawford, there was Boots Ennis, all those guys were interviewed on the channel. So, back in the day. So, Keith, I built a very good relationship with Keith until he changed. I think he went to PBC or something happened or whatever. But anyway, let me not digress. I can always come back to you about that later. Anyway, my thoughts. Keith Thurman coming back to fight against this Brock Jarvis. Okay, Keith's been out in the ring for 3 years. We know that. He's what, 36 years old now? Now, I remember back in the day, I did it in Keith. Who is he going to fight? I can't remember who Keith was going to fight. And I said to Keith, this is earlier on in his career, he must have been like maybe 25 and 0, 26 and 0, something like that, or even 30 and 0, something like that. And I said to Keith, if you keep throwing them punches the way you keep throwing them punches, you're going to get injuries. You're throwing them punches like a fast bowler. And it's not, first of all, it's not normal to throw punches like that. And the way you wing them punches in, it's not good. You're going to end up getting injuries and getting tears early in your career. He went to me, brother, at the end of the day, when you go in the shower, you're going to get wet. I said, yeah, you're going to get wet. But you should come out with your skin on your body, meaning that the rain, the water, has not got acid in it to burn you. Keith Thurman, he had has the style. I remember comparing him to David Hay in the way he knocked guys out and the explosiveness, the dynamism, and the way he used to box. And he threw punches like Hay in some of Hay was a bit more, for me, Hay was a little bit more conservative in the way he threw his punches. Like I said, Keith will throw punches like a fast bowler. He throw them from wide, over the top, looping punches. Exciting to watch and great knockouts he was getting. I said, but if you keep fighting like this, Keith, your career will be short in terms of the injuries. Well, look where we are in 2025, sorry. And the injuries Keith had. Keith's life changed so much. I remember saying Keith, and he said to me when he looked at my life, he said, you got a beautiful life there, brother. I would love to have what you have. And I look at him saying, really? He says, you're a settled man. So I'm like, I really appreciate when Keith was saying it to me about life. And, he was the guy that I was like, he was one of my favorite fighters. Not just we had a friendship or a relationship that went beyond the cameras. So we talk about just about life. And I like Keith because of the way he looked at life, the way he viewed life. So, I was happy when he got married and stuff like that. And obviously, married life changes. You've got different priorities, so on and so forth. Where am I from? I'm from London. He bought an Asian male and quit the game. Well, have you seen how beautiful his wife is? I mean, his wife is very beautiful. And he was always that kind of guy that he had that, relaxed, chill way of life. He always talked to me about Ben Getty, his trainer, how much Ben Getty instilled in him, discipline, hard work, all the rest of it. I remember those conversations we talked about him and Ben Getty all the time when he was talking in Florida. Clearwater, Florida, I always remembered. So after I was told this stuff about Thurman fighting Brock Jarvis, I said, who the heck is Brock Jarvis? And then I read under the comment, Brock Jarvis got knocked out by that guy called Paro. I know Paro fought a guy called Hitchens on the zone. So I know Paro's not a big puncher, not to my knowledge. So I went to check out who this guy was. This Brock. I swear, the way he got knocked out by Paro. First of all, he looked nervous. Secondly, he looked like a bodybuilder throwing punches. Like, I swear, he looked like a bodybuilder who just literally come out the gym and said, right, I'm going to have a fight. He didn't look like a boxer to me. He looked like a guy who only just started learning how to box. Like, that's the first like 30 seconds. This guy, what you got? This guy can't box. He certainly can't box against a southpaw because going off his front foot. You know, he's leaving himself open. He's overstretching. He's leaving himself caught for counters. He's got a chin up in the air with his frame punch. I'm like, no. This dude, he looks like a guy who's been just in the gym like a bodybuilder. I swear, upper body's really, really big. I'm like, This the way he's holding his hand, he's got his hands around his head like earmuffs, and the way he's like almost shielding himself behind it. He's not boxing like with the confidence of a fighter that knows what he's doing. So his energy is whack. I'm like, what is this dude doing? Then I saw Power knock him out. And when he went down, I said, aha, inexperience. He got up, he tried to get back, tried to scramble up quickly because of pride. He was scrambling all around the ring. So, like, trying to get up and he couldn't get up. I thought, so this guy's inexperienced because you go down, experienced guy would go down, take the count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, get up. But this guy, as soon as he went down, he tried to get up. His leg weren't from under him, and then he fell asleep. He got put to sleep basically. He couldn't get up, so that was the end of the fight for him. So I thought, this dude's gonna fight Keith Thurman. Even a 36-year-old Keith Thurman won't have a problem. But then I watched his comeback fight. I think he fought 2 years later, and the first thing I noticed about Jarvis, his muscle mass had changed. He had a slimmer body, upper body. And this time I saw him moving his head, throwing in combinations, and looking a lot better. Yeah, I saw today Nigerian. Yeah, they should do well now. They've got a top coach. And I'm thinking to myself, whoa. The dude that fought against Paro and the dude that just fought the other day, Jarvis's comeback, Brock looks a different fighter. I'm telling you now, I don't know about his chin because chins are something that I don't know. When he got knocked out by Power, he got knocked out because he was just eager and he was just nervous and eager and ran into a shot. That I ain't sure about because that can happen. Anybody can get knocked out like that. Even David Tua, as an amateur, was it David Tua? Yeah, Tua got knocked out in the amateurs. He got cleaned out in the amateurs. Yeah, Vladimir Klitschko got knocked out in the amateurs by Pele Reed in kickboxing. So it happens. Guys who've got great chins in the pros get wiped out as an amateur. But the way Brock got knocked out, he got knocked out because he was inexperienced. And I don't think his coach was great. Now on this comeback now, looked at him in his last fight. He was putting his punches together. He was slipping. He was throwing punches to the body. He looked good. And one area of Keith Thurman's game that's always been suspect is body shots. And he had issues then. Now, at 36 years old, when you're at the age of Keith Thurman at 36 years old, and your whole setup is around speed and movement and getting out of punch, because Keith never had the greatest defense. His feet was his defense. So Keith, the way Keith would fight is like this. First round, he'd come out. First and second round, come out, try and blast you out of there. If you can't blast you out there, he gets onto the back foot and starts pedaling around the ring and trying to outbox you. That's how Keith fights. That's Keith's setup. And as Keith's career went on, as Jarvis rightly pointed out, Keith hasn't had a knockout in 10 years. 10 years. That's because he can't set the shots up properly now because of the injuries. So he can't get the leverage in the shots that he used to have. But he's still a good puncher, but he's not the puncher he was like when we spoke, what I told you about before before he got his injuries. So he's not the same fighter. He's certainly not the same puncher. So, pardon the expression, time waits for no one. And Father Time is undefeated and undisputed. And there's no, like, he's 36 years old in a welterweight division or like middleweight division. 36, you better be good. And you better not rely on speed and reflexes as your keys. Guys like Bernard Hopkins, James Toney, their careers can go longer because not relying on speed and reflexes, good defensive skills, good hand-eye coordination, good, good fundamentals, not speed and reflexes where you've got poor fundamentals where, like Wilder, for example, a guy who wasn't great fundamentally, or Roy Jones is a better example. Roy Jones is the best example. A guy who fundamentally was starting off throwing straight right hands instead of left jabs. So then, as the speed went, people were able to walk up on him. It's the guys like Glenn Johnson, Danny Green, Tarver, all able to catch Jones. Where, years before when Jones had blowing hand speed and fast hands and first feet, Jones was a menace. But as the speed slows down and the reflexes are not the same, first of all, to get out of trouble, right? And to respond, and to also get yourself into position to land certain shots without getting caught in return. When you've got the speed, you can do that. But when your speed goes, the positions you put your body in, your chin, which you would have got away from, now you get nailed those same shots, which isn't great. This isn't great at all. So that being said, with Keith at 36 years old, nobody knows what he's going to be like, but he definitely will not be any better than he was when he fought against Pacquiao. That's for sure. Or that comeback fight he had. I think you've had Barrios, the comeback fight against Barrios. So I don't know where Keith Thurman is now. But, or what his motivations are. He sees this guy getting knocked over in a round and thinks, right, I'll take him as a good fight going to Australia. But fighting Australia is not easy, man. He's going to have to deal with time differences. If he doesn't get it right and he doesn't come over in time, he can find himself in a lot of problems. Keith should get rid of Brock Jarvis if he's got anything left in his tank, but I don't know how Keith's been living his life. I don't even know why Keith Thurman is back, to be honest with you. I mean, is he trying to set up a big fight in the future? Who's going to fight Keith Thurman now? Who's going to want to fight Keith Thurman now? Clarissa Shields, maybe? I don't know. Seriously. I mean, I was just sitting there listening to Keith talk. I'm like, bro, like, you're like, so 2020, 2019. I don't like, you're out of time, man. Out of time. Keith out of time, Thurman. It's like, you've just made yourself irrelevant in boxing. There was a time Thurman was hot property and he was relevant. Keith Thurman is out of time. He's out of date. He's out of season. Right? And he's trying to say, I'm going to be one of the greatest comebacks. Come back where? To do what? At 36 years old. That's a what? Light middleweight? Oh, a welterweight? No, bro. Just sit down, Keith. Seriously. Keith needs to sit down somewhere in some corner. It's like, son, don't talk to me like that, son. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to do this. Then you learn from what happened with you and Pacquiao. I'm not comparing Brock Jarvis to Pacquiao. Didn't Pacquiao teach you anything? You let the small Pacquiao come on, beat up on you. You're going to go and talk that way against Jarvis. Nah, man. I'm not saying Jarvis is like the next Sugar Ray Leonard, but you're 36 years old. You haven't scored a knockout in 10 years. So the whole aura about Keith Thurman, one-time Thurman, was the big punching power, knocking dudes over. He's not that dude no more. He's not been that dude for 10 years. But he's not had all the knockouts in that period of time. Do you understand? So he hasn't knocked anyone out. Relevant. He's knocked no one out. So if you don't just come back from nowhere and then suddenly start getting scored a whole lot of knockouts again. You need some money, Ingram. That's why he's fighting. Don't ignore that. That's why these people still fight. Yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that. But you come back now to embarrass and to ruin your legacy. That's what you're coming back to do now. When these dudes come back, they're coming back to get knocked out. I swear. When these dudes come back, they come back to no. I wouldn't want to see like Jamal Charles made his comeback, yeah? I wouldn't want to see Thurman against Charlo like middleweight evening box. We all missed the Thurman in his prime. His wife was smart asking him to retire. It's sad he's coming back. But it's sad he's coming back, man. It's sad. You know what? That is what it is. I don't know what 3 years he's been out. It would have been great seeing prime Thurman at the Riyadh season, but this ain't prime Thurman. And anybody thinking that Thurman's going to come back and fight the way he did back in the day when he was fighting against Porter and Danny Garcia, them days are over, man. Them days are well and truly over. He doesn't care about legacy. He never had one to protect. No, I think he had. No, I think that's a bit unfair. He beat Sean Porter, prime Sean Porter, and he beat Garcia. He beat two good fighters, man. Two really good fighters. So I thought Thurman's career was good. He just got injured. Do you think he's only coming back for money, or do you think he can actually win again? No, I don't see Thurman as a world class operator anymore. I don't. He's Yeah, he's fighting to keep his wife a decent lifestyle. Quite possibly, quite possibly. I don't know, man. I don't know why he's coming back, but just sitting down. If you just sit down and listen to Thurman talk, I'm like, bro, I love Keith, but I was watching him on this telecast from here in Australia and America between the two talking. I was like, Keith, just shut up, just shut up, mate. Like, just there was no relevance to what he was like. I was like, bro, I just couldn't pick myself up to listen to him and really listen to him with any sort of belief. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just, I was like, Keith, just, bro, sit down in some corner somewhere, man. Like, Keith has always been a fantastic talker, but, bro, just sit down somewhere. This is going to be the greatest comeback since Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali. And no, bro, it's not happening. I don't think it's happening anyway. Too many injuries, first thing. Too many injuries. And in anything now, you're going to be slower. And then body shots that you got away with before, you're not getting away with them body shots anymore. And if you're struggling to make the weight back then you got more of a problem now at 36 years old. A lot of things to consider now. You know, you're fighting for different reasons now. He was overrated. He was a flat track bowler. Yeah, he beat Porter over the distance. He was always limited over a 12 rounder. Limited over a 12 rounder. I don't know. I'd love to see him and Spence fight. I think that still would have been a great fight. Spence versus Prime. Spence in his prime. I still would love to have seen that. I still would love to have seen that fight. You'd have thought Spence would have got Thurman against the ropes and whacked him to the body. But, you know, if you balance out Spence with his injuries and Thurman with his injuries, I think we would have had a really good fight. Just imagine he doesn't come back like Fury, yeah, but he's not. When Fury came back, he wasn't 36 years old. That's the first thing. And the second thing, Fury wasn't in the tough fights that Thurman was in. He was in a tough fight against Paul. He was in a tough fight against Garcia. But he had all those injuries as well. I mean, Thurman was injured even when I was talking to him. So, you know, and he's not the same fighter. He's not the same fighter. And he can't fight as a 36-year-old the same pace that he boxed as a 25-year-old or 26-year-old or 27. He can't box that way no more. So he's going to have to adjust his style. He can't be bouncing around the ring, left to right, bouncing the way he could do it like Pacquiao did. But Pacquiao is a freak of nature, as with Usyk is a freak of nature. I don't see Thurman being that dude. I really don't. I really don't. But we'll see. Thurman avoided many fights by being inactive. His whole career has been smoke and mirrors. Really? Is that? I don't know, man. Listen, how many fighters would you go home to watch at night? I would go home to watch Thurman fight. I literally would go home to watch Thurman fight, or I would stay up in the middle of the night or early hours in the morning to watch Keith Thurman fight. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Thurman was one of my favourite fighters. Speed, power, movement. He was delivering knockouts back in the day. He was knocking mans out. That you can't really knock Thurman like that, man. He was there for knockouts and entertainment. That's what Thurman was about. Yeah, mate. You are being harsh about Thurman, because back in the day, Thurman wasn't say it was the man, but it was one of the men that you stood up, you stayed up early in the morning to watch. You can't tell me Thurman was a boring fighter. Don't even try that one, Anthony. Don't even try it for 1 second. I mean, he was knocking over guys that was expected to knock over. Okay, so let me throw this at you. How many genuine world-class fighters did Gennady Golovkin knock out? And come back and talk to me about that. How many guys did Gennady Golovkin, who's meant to knock out at elite level, who do you knock out? Do you knock out Danny Jacobs? No. Do you knock out Canelo? No. Well, you tell me who Gennady Golovkin knocked out at elite level that he was supposed to knock out. Tell me. That elite Gennady Golovkin. And Gennady Golovkin, if you want to talk about smoke and mirrors, Gennady Golovkin is definitely smoke and mirrors because he never knocked out anybody worth a piss, to be honest. So when we're talking about, oh yeah, Gennady Golovkin didn't knock anyone out. Golovkin, we can go on. We could talk about Lomachenko. He never went on to be undisputed, did he? Oh, we could go on. We could pick anyone's resume apart if we wanted to. Oh well, Mayweather. He didn't fight Paul Williams. Oh, he didn't fight Margarito. Margarito got beaten up by Pacquiao. We could go on for ages. I'm not saying that he was boring. His resume was inflated. Golovkin was overrated too. Jesus. So there you go. See, was there anyone who wasn't overrated? Maybe someone who wasn't overrated. Come on. I mean, you don't talk about guys like Ali, but then even if you want to go about Ali got beat by Leon Spinks, who was like an 8-fight novice. I mean, we could really go down a rabbit hole here. I could go on and tell you that Joe Joyce has got the best resume in the world when it comes to prospects and contenders. He had a better record. He had a better resume than Mike Tyson, and a better resume than George Foreman, and a better resume than Evander Holyfield, and a better resume than Lennox Lewis. If we look at Joe Joyce's resume, in terms of the guys who fought when he fought them, we could go there for the amount of fights he had, 15 fights. We could go there. Golovkin took Canelo to deep water, and Canelo's incredible. Would you say then go for Canelo's overrated? Oh, by the way, I'd just like to add, Anthony, that Canelo came from, was it light middleweight or welterweight? And he could knock out a welterweight. And even when he fought Brook, he didn't knock Brook out, did he? I'm just saying, let's keep it 100%. Thurman is your man, and you're riding hard for him. No, okay. I mean, who are you riding for then? No, wait, I've been waiting for somebody to start this up, so we might as well go there tonight. Who are you riding for then? Let me rip on your fighters to shreds. Bring somebody up. Come on. Who are you going to bring up? I don't know. Let me see the kind of fight you bring. Everything. Okay, bring up Tyson Fury, are we? Go on, bring up somebody, Anthony. Come on, bring somebody up. Be careful who you bring up, because just like you're going to rip Thurman to shreds, I'll rip your fighter to shreds as well. Go ahead. I get it. And answer my question about Kelly's overrated. We're talking about Keith Thurman. You're ripping Keith Thurman to shreds. He was a unified champion. He fought Porter and he fought Garcia in their primes. Back to back. Prime. Not that these were the two of the top best guys around, apart from Spence and Crawford. Okay, let's talk about Crawford. How many top fighters has Crawford beaten outside of Spence? Amir Khan, wasn't he washed? Brook, wasn't he washed? I mean, let's go there. Anthony's not answering the question. He's not answering the question. I'm right. You see, I can't have you knocking Thurman like that. I'm not saying Thurman was the greatest ever, or he was pound for pound legendary, but at the time, Thurman was a pound for pound fighter. Canelo has proven himself over time. As Keith Thurman doesn't have a resume to match Canelo, pipe down. Yeah, but we saw about Keith Thurman who got injured. An injured Keith Thurman. And he was injured. Okay, so where would you put Errol Spence then? If you're going to go, where would you put Errol Spence? Where would you put Terence Crawford? He's a 2-time undisputed champion. Where are you going to put him? In terms of, I've answered your question. Okay, but I think Canelo's an exception to the rule. Because he took time. He didn't just jump up 2 weight divisions. Took his time. But you said Golovkin is overrated. You can't call someone overrated, but then have him go the distance multiple times. That's the black hole I'm talking about. That's the black hole you're talking about. When you decide to go and jump on one guy and say he's overrated, you better have a fighter that's like bulletproof. Spence is this era is one of the best in this era is one of the best welterweights. So Thurman wasn't one of the best welterweights at the time. what are you trying to tell me? When Thurman was unified champion and Spence had a WBC belt, Spence is WBC belt or IBF belt he had. Thurman had WBC, I think Spence had IBF if I'm correct. Yeah. At that time, you're telling me Thurman and Spence was not a big fight, and they were not the two best fighters in the and then Crawford was. I don't think Crawford was, because Crawford come up to be fought for the WBO title afterwards, because Pacquiao was WBO champion. So no, Crawford was still on his way to undisputed, I believe. So unified, and fought two. So where was Danny Garcia and Sean Porter when they fought? Golovkin not the only one to go the distance. Canelo Izzy. So did Callum Smith. Pipe down. Callum Smith. Do we want to continue going down rabbit holes again? Do we want to start going down rabbit holes again? The same Callum Smith that was meant to fight Jürgen Bremer, but somehow Jürgen Bremer's gone missing and nobody's seen him since. Yeah, okay, we could keep talking. We could keep going in rabbit holes, mate. We can keep going down holes. But anyway, coming back to Keith, once upon a time, Thurman. Again, he was the guy who was really exciting to watch. Unified welterweight champion of the world. But at 36 years old, even if he does beat Brock Jarvis, where is he going with his 36-year-old self? That's the question. So, I don't know. I don't know where we're going, Keith. I don't know what Keith's doing. I don't know what is his entitled to do what he's doing. But if he gets beat by Brock Jarvis, mate, I just think that it's well and truly game over. But Brock Jarvis looks better now with the adjustments made as a fighter now than he did when he fought against Paro. When he fought Paro, he looked like a trash. But I think Brock now has got older, wiser, more mature, and his body structure looks more like a boxer, not like a bodybuilder. You're taking he's digging himself a hole he can't get himself out of. It's okay. But yeah. Can somebody please find out what happened to Jürgen Bremer? Jürgen Bremer was meant to fight Callum Smith in Liverpool, I believe, on that World Boxing Series, and he went missing. So if somebody can tell me what happened to Jürgen Bremer and what happened to Jürgen Bremer after that, I'd love to know. No disrespect intended by my question. Aren't for you. I don't know. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Right, guys. Thank you so much. Very interesting conversation. Come out there. But yeah. All the best to Keith Thurman and Brock Jarvis and whatever they're going to do. Let's hope Keith actually gets to America. Let's remember, it hasn't all landed. It hasn't all gone well for Americans that have gone to Australia. Let's remember Roy Jones when he fought Danny Green. That wasn't meant to be a knockover job, and we saw what happened to Roy Jones. He got knocked over. I remember when Pacquiao fought. Was it not Pacquiao? Pacquiao went and fought twice. He fought. What's this guy's name? I can't remember his name again. But that was a robbery. I can't remember the guy again. Let's see. Oh, I can see the guys. I can see the guy. Jeff Horn. Pacquiao got unstuck there in Australia. So sit down a bit and watch himself. Let's do a bit of Anthony. I hope you find a friend. I think Anthony felt a little hurt. It's boxing, brother. Nothing more, nothing less, mate. That was a bit of fun. Nothing personal, Anthony. But I'm here for Ingram only. Man, for you. God, love you there, mate. Love you for that. But ST's a cool dude, man. ST is a cool dude. He's one of the real ones. Big up yourself. ST's a cool one. ST's cool, man. I think ST is cool. He's a good brother, as you are as well, Anthony. And you know, I've got. Listen, I'll be honest and tell you if there's a bias there. I've got a bias to Keith Thurman. I'll always have a bias to Keith Thurman because he's an exciting fighter. He was a good fighter, a unified champion. I'm not gonna say he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but he was a really good fighter, boxer, puncher. The punching and the knockouts started to dry up. So, you know, with the injuries, so it's a shame. Keith Thurman, overrated. Oh dear. I might have to do a section on is Keith Thurman overrated. Even better still, I should have to get Keith Thurman on the line, and you can tell him yourself how overrated he is. And he'll say, "Son, let me tell you, son. Let me tell you, son." Keith's a funny guy. He really is a good dude, really nice guy, and funny. Right, let me get out of here. Thank you all so much. Yeah, really struggling with Undisputed at the moment on the playlist with Deontay Wilder. It's not going very well. Might use Conor Benn next on my Undisputed journey. I'm still doing my football. So do get across, subscribe to the channel. ST's over there. You know what is overrated? Ingram's Undisputed boxing character. He's getting sparked out all the time. I was about to say that on ST. I did follow that up. Yeah, ST, thank you very much for that. With the cross eyes and his lisp. Yeah, son. That Pacquiao fight is still funny to me. It's so funny. Still a funny fight. Keith was doing all that talking, all that yapping, was down in the first round. I still love Keith though. Still love Keith. He's got lyrics from here till tomorrow. Keith Thurman. Dear. The man with so many lyrics, Keith Thurman. Once upon a time, Keith Thurman used to punch with power. Not anymore. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. Keep your eyes checked out on the Undisputed. Might go with Conor Benn next. And check out my Bromley FC football team. I've got Filipinos, I've got Bangladeshis, I've got Indians, I've got Pakistanis. I'm trying to get a Sri Lankan in. I've got Koreans. I've got Chinese. Youth players all playing. I want to play a Champions League or play in the Champions League with an Asian side. That would be Conor Benn overrated. Agreed. But not overrated. Now, he's not overrated. He should be not rated. Not even he should be rated, and Conor Benn and rated should not even be in the same room. But he's not rated because he's not British champion. He's not Commonwealth. He's not European. He's not world. I don't think he's even got an English title, has he? So, I mean, I think he's got an international something belt somewhere. Ben needs to lay off the eggs. Well, I don't know. I'm expecting an excellent fight. That's what I am. What the hell is he? I don't know exactly. I don't know how a man like that can step up and fight in a pay-per-view event. Look, exactly. How is this man getting a pay-per-view event? Oh, yes, of course, because of his dad. That's the one time we can actually pull up and say, because of his dad. Because that's exactly what it is. It isn't based on merit. It's because of his dad and because of Eubank. Because he's done nothing. Well, I hope so. I bloody well hope so. Because if Eubank gets chinned by Ben, what does that say? I'm not paying to watch it. It means you're gonna do your naughty then and watch it elsewhere, or go in the pub and watch it. No, I think it's gonna be good. I think that'll be an interesting fight. They've got two fights. Let's just hope Ben don't get chinned early. If his Thurman wasn't Ben, it'd be Dave Allen. No, I don't know about that. Dave Allen's pretty likable. And I don't think that Ben would have the same get-up because he'd have no one to model in terms of he can model his dad as the Dark Destroyer and go down that route. I think that Conor Benn is viewing Eubank as his Doug DeWitt fight. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's Ben's Doug DeWitt fight. Yeah, I don't think they'll take the Barrios fight because if he gets his ass whooped by Barrios, there's no way back for him really. But if he gets his ass whooped by Eubank, at least he can make the excuse, well, I fought a bit of weight. That's what it is. Right, let me get the hell out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been BWTM Sports Gaming. He's doing nothing. Lennox, what do you think of the fight? Yeah, wow. That's a great fight. Who's going to win, Lennox? They've got two great boxers in there. And, Eubank's a great boxer. Connor's a big boxer, great boxer. So, who'd made the best man win? But Lennox, who do you think's going to win the fight? You stick him in the ring and, you let him throw punches and we'll see the outcome, Just, you got to tune in. So, yeah, all the best, guys. Take care. All the best.